Hey everybody, thanks for tuning back into Press Pause. Aurora and I are here today, and we're ready to dive into the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. Obviously, there's been a lot of updates. I'm sure many of you have heard those updates, but we are here to give you guys an update on that. Very excited to talk about the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise because we are big fans of that franchise. Obviously, we are free travel agents that specialize in Disney and Universal and things, so Pirates of the Caribbean being a Disney franchise is something that we really enjoy. Very great film series that we have out there. There's been a lot of updates. If you haven't seen our video in the past about the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise and everything that's going on with, you know, the IP itself, go back, check out that video. It talks about Johnny Depp and whether he might sail again on the high seas. So that's something that we did in the past, but we wanted to give you guys an update because there's been some new things come to light, things that we kind of saw in the background, in the inner workings with the Pirates franchise, but now has been confirmed. So, well, confirmed to an extent. So anyway, you know, looking at the database, Aurora was actually taking a look. We've noticed that many of you are stowaways on our ship and have not subscribed yet to the channel. So if you don't want to walk the plank, please like and subscribe to the channel. It would be greatly appreciated by us. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and jump into today's topic. First off, a little bit of background on the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, okay? Pirates of the Caribbean is a 5-film franchise. The franchise itself has diminished somewhat in, throughout the 5 films. It was kind of diminishing return on investment for Disney from the first film going forward. Obviously, the second and third did pretty well, but the fourth and fifth did not pan out the way that Disney wanted it to. So the IP was looking as if it was dying off slowly, and obviously Disney wanted to try and do something to revamp it. Now, this franchise started based on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride at Disney. So yes, it is a film series that was created based on an attraction, just like the Jungle Cruise movie that came out recently from Disney as well. Now, looking at it, this franchise was made by Johnny Depp, who played Jack Sparrow, Captain Jack Sparrow, who was the main character of the franchise. He did an amazing job. He really is the person that set this forward. Disney did not anticipate this franchise to be as big as it did, as big as it got, right? They did not anticipate this to be such a big cinematic marvel to people and to do so well in the box office and could go on to do 5 films. It was supposed to be a single standalone film, and it did so well they had to continue doing more. This is mostly in part to Johnny Depp's portrayal of Captain Jack Sparrow and his work on the film. So looking at that, obviously with everything that happened with Johnny Depp recently and his court issues that he's had, took a step back for people. And him being in the spotlight in a negative sense was not the best, especially for a brand like Disney. So Disney was already looking to do something to revamp the franchise. They were already looking at possible reboots. They were possibly looking at spin-offs into different series of different characters and something to just breathe some life into this, okay? Get back a little bit more to the basics. And in doing so, this court case that came up with Johnny Depp created a pretty easy scapegoat for them to be able to say, all right, we're moving on from Captain Jack Sparrow. Now, many lovers of the franchise have said very much, even on this channel, we've had people say, if there's no Johnny Depp, we're not watching Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Okay, I understand that. And I completely agree with, the rationale, and he made this franchise, so if he's not there, how's the quality gonna be as good as it was? I get that. However, recently, well, not just so recently, but shortly after everything was going on with Depp, there was discussions that Margot Robbie, who is actually, she plays Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad movies and in Birds of Prey. That's mostly where people know her from. She was announced to be doing a new film. She was developing a new Pirates of the Caribbean film for the series with Margot Robbie actually starring in the film as well. And it would pretty much be within the same world, same time frame and things like that as the original Pirates of the Caribbean movie, but Margot Robbie being inserted and some type of story of hers being told. Now, we did mention how we had a lot of concerns about this. Obviously, if you go back to that time period, you look to that time frame of the world, there's not a really big opportunity to have a story completely dictated on a female because they weren't very prominent in that area, in that era. It was something that, women did not become captains of ships and things like that very often. Obviously, being true to the time period and making it more believable of a film is something that we were worried about because it was supposed to be a female-led film based on the same time frame that Johnny Depp's Pirates films were based in, which would ultimately be impossible in our opinion because it's not true to the time period. Now, since Depp has been pretty much cleared of all the allegations that happened to him, obviously there are people who are still frustrated against him and think that, he should have lost the case. According to what was found, according to any bit of evidence, which there wasn't very much, he pretty much looked to be cleared. Now, he was very upfront about himself, very upfront about his personal life, and so because of the fact that he's talked about doing drugs and his drinking and things like that, Disney obviously is going to be very apprehensive to bring him back. And so that was something we talked about in the last Pirates video that we did is, will Disney be able to bring Johnny Depp back? Would they be willing to bring him back? And that was something that we had a lot of questions about, and we didn't really know the answer, but I think there's some light here because in recent news, Margot Robbie has come out and said that Disney has pretty much scrapped the film that she was developing for Pirates of the Caribbean. They pretty much scrapped the idea and are moving on from her in that role, and we are so glad about that here on the channel. Aurora and I are very glad about that. Margot Robbie, she may have been putting together a great film or whatever. I don't know, but I don't believe that she has the experience to be able to put in the quality of work that would be needed to do a really good Pirates franchise, especially following up a very successful 5-film series. So we are kind of happy that Disney has moved on from her. I just don't think that level of what she would be able to bring to the table from developing the film standpoint would be good enough to have it be where it needs to be based on her experience in the past. Now, Robbie was upset with this, obviously, but again, I think it makes sense. They need somebody who's got more experience and someone who has more depth within the film franchise to be able to do something here. So in light of that, Margot Robbie has moved on. You'll be glad to know she is working on a new Barbie film, which seems way more up her alley, right? You can, do some ditzy things and make some mistakes and people aren't going to care because it's Barbie, right? So don't worry though. The Pirates movies still have life to it. Disney has brought in former Pirates writers to spearhead the story for a reboot. A reboot is actually the right direction for this, guys. We are very hesitant to say to reboot something, but this is a situation where we believe that a reboot is absolutely warranted and it could do very well. So this franchise was a bit tired. It was declining in the box office. It wasn't doing that well. The stories were not that great. And so the best thing about a reboot means that Johnny Depp could return as Captain Jack Sparrow in this film, and especially with previous writers of the franchise that he's familiar with, maybe it encourages him a little bit more to want to come back. And I think that's going to be a problem. I don't know if it's so much about Disney wanting him back. Disney wants to make money, and at the end of the day, they're going to be okay with bringing Johnny Depp back if he makes them money. I think it's more so about Johnny Depp. Does he have to do this? Does he have to make this new film? Does he have to be a part of the franchise anymore? No, he doesn't. So what's going to encourage him to come back? Making sure it's a great quality film series that's going to continue to elevate what he set the stage for. And I think that's what we're going to get here. So ultimately, Robbie should have known, not to get her hopes up. If you look at Disney, this is just what Disney is doing right now. Look at the D23 Expo video that we did and look at everything that was announced for D23. Nothing was really announced. Nothing large was announced as confirmed. Everything was pie in the sky ideas. We have an idea here. We have an idea here. This is what Disney's doing now. Disney doesn't know what its consumer wants. And because Disney doesn't know what its consumer wants, because it's not listening to its consumer on a daily basis, it's only listening through data and analytics, which doesn't really help you understand your consumer. Helps you understand the money flow and how to be profitable. But ultimately, you can lose your fan base if you don't engage with them and connect with them, okay? So with Bob Chapek's direction, obviously, you know, they're moving more to that data and analytics focus, and this is continuously hurting, in my opinion, what Disney is doing to understand its consumer and understand its fans. So this is exactly what Disney did. They put Roby out there and they said, hey, we're gonna let you work on a film. We're gonna have it be female based, all this stuff. And then they wanted to see how the fans reacted. Because in 2019, okay, 3 years ago, they had the original Pirates writers come in to write a reboot at the same time that Roby has been writing her own thing for Pirates. So honestly, this tells me, it shows easily that Disney was sitting back and Disney was saying, okay, we're gonna have Roby write her thing. We're gonna take a name that's kind of big right now that people might know from the Suicide Squad movies, and we're gonna have her write a film series. And we're gonna talk about how it's female driven and all this. Okay, cool. Let's see what people think. People didn't really like the idea. Over time, people have continued to get upset about it. People are usually negative and upset about change anyway, but if it continues and doesn't change and turn around, that's when Disney was like, all right, fine, we're gonna scrap that. By the way, this other reboot that we've been working on for Pirates at the same time, that we just haven't really pushed and really told you guys about, oh, we're still gonna do that with the original writers. They never really wanted to give Roby the shot. They just wanted to test out in the waters what people thought. They wanted to see what people would think about Roby writing this and being a female-driven film and things like that. And obviously people did not take to that because I don't think it's good for the time period. It doesn't make it accurate. So clearly Disney wants to have multiple concepts thrown out there and have fans sit back and see what the fans' reactions are, because they actually don't understand their consumer anymore. So in light of that, with the old writers coming back and Johnny Depp having worked with them and worked with their work in the past on the previous films, maybe, just maybe, this sets the stage to bring back Johnny Depp back on board. I believe Depp would be asked to return. Ultimately, it's about the money. And I think if Depp returns, I think there's going to be a lot of money coming Disney's way. So I think he will be asked. The question is Johnny Depp going to say,
"It's a pirate's life for me"?
Or is he going to say,
"Now, bring me that horizon,"
and sail off? So what are we going to get? I'm not sure, but there is life. There is new life to possibly having Depp return. In the way that this is twisting, I think it's more likely that he could come back than what it would have been if Roby was continue writing her film for Pirates. So that is the update for you guys. I know it's a little bit shorter of a video this time around, but wanted to give you that update, give you our thoughts and things of what we've heard about it, what we've seen, and ultimately how this might open the door for Johnny Depp to come back. And this is a positive thing for the Pirates franchise regardless, because Roby's rendition was not going to be accurate to the time period. And I think Disney understood that. I think they listened to the fans, listened to those out there who were talking about it, and understood we got to move in a different direction. Oh, by the way, we already had a different direction working on anyway, because we don't know what the heck we're doing. We just want to throw it out there and see what sticks. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. If you enjoy the content, if you like the channel, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button so you're made aware when we post new content out there. If you guys want to see something, if you want to hear about something, if there's a movie you want us to review, or if there's a what if scenario you want us to do, reach out to us in the comments down below. It would really help the channel a lot to make sure it gets out there on YouTube, is for you guys to comment and things like that. Even just telling us we did a good job, or hey, you know, next time could you talk a little more about this, or give us this idea to talk about in our next video. That'd be great. Again, we are official free travel agents. It's a free service that we provide for Disney, Universal, World Caribbean, Sandals Resort. Reach out to us. We'd love to help you book your next set of magical memories with us. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again on the next video.